Point 1. We're all born with a creative spark. Let's get one thing straight. Creativity isn't just for those who paint or sculpt. It's not a special gift reserved for a chosen few. It's something we all have. It's as natural as breathing. That's the main point Rubin wants us to understand. So, what an artist? Well, it's not just someone who creates masterpieces in a studio. An artist is anyone who creates. It could be a mom making a fun breakfast for her kids, a gardener arranging his plants in a cool way, or a teenager expressing herself through her clothes. All these are acts of creation, and therefore, acts of artistry. Rubin believes we're all born with a natural curiosity and a desire to explore. Just look at kids. They're not scared to taste sand, jump in puddles, or show their feelings. They're always learning and growing. That's what creativity is all about, seeing the world in your own unique way and expressing it. But as we get older, we often lose that creativity. Society tells us to fit in, to hide our feelings, and to be scared of what others think. We start to think that creativity is only for artists. But Rubin says that's not true. Creativity isn't a gift, it's a way of life. It's part of being human, and we need to let it out. Creativity isn't just for the young or the famous. It's a journey that lasts a lifetime. Ideas, like people, need time and effort to grow. If we don't take care of our ideas, someone else might. That's why Rubin says that ideas don't belong to anyone. They're out there in the world, waiting for someone to find them and bring them to life. So, what's the takeaway? Rubin wants us to embrace our natural creativity and let it show in everything we do. He says that our life is our greatest creation, and the more true we are to ourselves, the more unique and creative our life will be. By accepting this, we can unlock the huge creative potential that's inside all of us. Point 2. Beauty is a personal thing. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder is a deep thought that Rubin delves into. It means that beauty, or any kind of liking for art, is a personal thing and can differ from one person to another. It's not something that's built into an object or a piece of art, but rather a viewpoint formed by the person looking at it. Let's make this easier to understand with an example. Picture a modern art show where a certain painting is being shown. The painting is abstract with bold, bright colors splashed all over the canvas. One person might look at this painting and see a mess, finding it unattractive. But another person might see a strong expression of feelings and think it's a work of genius. The painting hasn't changed, but how beautiful it is varies between the two people looking at it. This is what beauty is in the eye of the beholder really means. Rubin believes that this idea goes beyond just liking art and into the world of creativity. Creativity, like beauty, isn't something fixed but a changing process that's shaped by our own viewpoints and experiences. It's not something that can be measured or counted in an objective way, but rather something that's felt and expressed in a personal way. In his book, Rubin stresses how important being aware is in the creative process. He believes that our ability to notice and appreciate the world around us is directly tied to our ability to come up with creative ideas. For example, a musician might hear a beat in the sound of raindrops, or a poet might see a comparison in the changing seasons. These creative ideas come from a heightened awareness of the world around us. But Rubin also warns about the dangers of getting too stuck on our own viewpoints and beliefs. If we're too set in our ways, we risk shutting ourselves off from new experiences and ideas. For example, if we're convinced that all modern art is nonsense, we might ignore the abstract painting at the show without giving it a second look. By doing this, we limit our own creative potential. Rubin encourages us to approach the world with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. By doing this, we can expand our horizons, enrich our experiences, and improve our creative abilities. However, he also admits that we can't notice everything. Our brains are designed to filter out unneeded information to prevent overload. This selective attention is necessary for our survival, but it can also limit our awareness. In conclusion, Rubin's exploration of beauty is in the eye of the beholder, offers valuable insights into the nature of creativity. It encourages us to be aware, accept subjectivity, and keep an open mind, all of which are essential for boosting creativity. Point 3. To be creative, you gotta live in the moment. Rubin has a pretty cool idea about creativity. He says it's not just about making art or coming up with new ideas. It's about being totally in the moment, really paying attention to what's happening right now. So, what does it mean to be in the moment? It's about being totally focused on what's happening right now, not thinking about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen tomorrow. It's about really tuning into your senses, your feelings, and what's happening around you. Now let's think about how this idea applies to being creative. We usually think of artists, writers, musicians, and other creative types when we talk about creativity. But Rubin says that creativity isn't just for these folks. It's a way of living that we can all tap into. Take a chef cooking a meal, for example. They're not just following a recipe. They're totally into the process. They're paying attention to how the ingredients feel and smell, how hot the stove is, the sound of the food cooking. They're making decisions on the fly, tweaking the seasoning, the cooking time, how the food looks. This is a creative act, and it's all because the chef is totally in the moment. Or think about a teacher in a classroom. They're not just giving a lecture. They're really interacting with the students, answering their questions, reacting to their responses, changing the pace and content of the lesson based on what the students are getting. This is another creative act, and it's all because the teacher is totally in the moment. Rubin also gives some practical tips on how to be more in the moment and creative in everyday life. He says to look for signs or hints from the universe when you're stuck, to learn from the best in any field to up your game, to watch nature for insights and inspiration, and to roll with the punches to build resilience and adaptability. So, to sum up, Rubin's idea of a creative life isn't about making art or coming up with new ideas. It's about being totally in the moment, really paying attention to what's happening right now. It's about being open to the universe, learning from the best, watching nature, and rolling with the punches. It's a way of living that we can all tap into, whether we're cooking a meal or teaching a class. And it's a way to live a richer, more fulfilling life. Point 4. Kids can teach us how to be more creative. Rubin believes that we can learn a lot about creativity from kids. Why? Because kids see the world without any filters. They don't overthink or overanalyze things. They don't worry about what happened in the past or what might happen in the future. They just do things driven by their curiosity and sense of wonder. This is very different from adults, who often limit their actions based on past experiences or what society expects of them. Take this example. If an adult tried to break a record that many people have failed to achieve, they might be put off by the history of failure. But a kid who doesn't know or care about this history would probably give it a go without a second thought. This fearless approach, not being scared of failure, opens up a world of possibilities that adults often shut out because they rely too much on past experiences. Rubin thinks that adults can learn from this fearless approach by adopting some of the attitudes that kids have. 1. Live in the moment. Kids don't worry about the past or the future. They're fully engaged in whatever they're doing right now. Adults can learn to do the same, focusing on what they're doing right now rather than worrying about what's already happened or what might happen. 2. Be honest. Kids often tell it like it is, without the filters that adults develop over time. This honesty can be refreshing and can lead to more genuine interactions and experiences. 3. Treat everything as play. Kids see most things as a form of play. This attitude can make even boring tasks fun and can encourage creativity and innovation. 4. Let go of emotions easily. Kids don't hold on to emotions. They express them freely and then move on. Adults can learn to do the same, expressing their emotions honestly and then letting them go, rather than holding on to them and letting them build up. Rubin also warns about the danger of relying too much on experience, as it can stop creativity. He thinks that inspiration often comes when we least expect it, and we need to be ready to grab it when it does. This needs a clear mind, free from worries, memories, and repetitive thoughts. Things like meditation, breath work, and silence can help clear the mind and make room for inspiration. In addition, Rubin thinks that breaking habits and trying new things can boost creativity. This could be as simple as having breakfast for dinner, taking a different route to work, wearing unusual clothes, or watching a movie without sound. These new experiences can shake up our routine and open our minds to new ideas and perspectives. Lastly, Rubin reminds us that while inspiration is a powerful thing, it's not always there. It comes and goes, and we can't rely on it to keep our creativity going forever. Instead, we need to show up and do the work, even when inspiration is not there. By giving our full attention to our art, we invite the muse to visit us, bringing with it the spark of inspiration. Point 5. Watch out, your habits can control you. Think of your life as a boat sailing on the sea. The habits you form are like the currents that guide your boat. Good habits are like strong, positive currents that can lead your boat to beautiful, prosperous lands. But bad habits are like negative currents that can steer your boat off course, or even lead it to dangerous, rocky shores. The tricky part is that these currents or habits can sometimes be invisible. They can subtly influence the direction of your boat without you even realizing it. They can silently shape your actions, decisions, and ultimately your destiny. Take procrastination, for example. It's a habit many of us struggle with. You might not think much of it when you delay starting a project or put off doing a task. But over time, this habit can become deeply ingrained in your behavior. It can lead to chronic stress, poor performance, and missed opportunities. In this way, the habit of procrastination can rule your life, often without you even knowing it. On the flip side, consider the habit of daily exercise. At first, it might seem like a chore, but over time, as this habit becomes part of your routine, you start to experience its benefits: increased energy, improved mood, better health. This positive habit can steer your life towards greater well-being and success. The point here is not to scare you about the power of habits, but to make you aware of their influence. It's about taking control of your habits, rather than letting them control you. This involves consciously choosing habits that support your creativity and well-being, and eliminating those that hinder you. For instance, if you're an aspiring writer, you might develop a habit of writing for an hour each morning. This routine can provide a structure that fosters your creativity. But if you have a habit of watching TV for hours each evening, this could be draining your creative energy. By becoming aware of these habits, you can choose to nurture the ones that serve you and discard the ones that don't. In conclusion, it's a call to action. It's about taking charge of your habits, to shape them deliberately and thoughtfully. By doing so, you can harness their power to enhance your creativity and enrich your lives. Point 6. Chasing fame can ruin your art. Let's talk about a deep thought: the idea that chasing fame can twist the true nature of art. It's a bit of a head-scratcher, but let's break it down. Think of art as a personal adventure. It's like taking a deep dive into your own soul, reflecting your unique views and experiences. Every artist's journey is different, so comparing one piece of art to another is like comparing apples to oranges. Sure, they're both fruits, but they're totally different in taste, texture, and looks. The same goes for two paintings or books. Even if they're about the same thing, they're the products of different minds and experiences. But here's the kicker: when an artist starts chasing after fame and recognition, this personal adventure can get twisted. The artist might start changing their work to fit what's popular or to appeal to more people. This can lead to art that doesn't really reflect the artist's true self, but is more of a product designed to sell. That's when true art gets distorted. Imagine a musician who starts making music not because they love it, but because they want to top the charts. The music might be catchy and popular, but it lacks the depth and authenticity that comes from a real artistic journey. It's like a cake that looks amazing but tastes bland. It might look good, but it lacks substance. Now, some might say that wanting recognition and success can push artists to do better. That might be true sometimes, but remember, art isn't a competition. The point of art isn't to beat others, but to express yourself and to elevate human consciousness. When artists start comparing themselves to others and trying to outdo them, it can lead to negative feelings like jealousy and insecurity. These feelings can block the creative process and lead to art that isn't genuine. Instead of trying to outdo others, artists should aim to improve their own work. They should see other artists' work as inspiration, not competition. For example, if an artist sees a painting they love, they shouldn't feel threatened or jealous. They should feel inspired to create their own work that's just as beautiful and meaningful. So, to wrap it up, chasing fame and recognition can twist true art by making artists create work that doesn't really reflect their true selves. Artists should focus on their own personal journey and aim to create art that's true to them. That's the heart of true art. And it's this authenticity that really connects with people and stands the test of time. Point 7. You can't force creativity. It comes when it wants. Imagine creativity as a wild bird. You can set up the perfect environment for it, with food and water, but you can't order it to come and go as you please. It'll show up when it feels safe and comfortable, and it'll take off when it wants to. That's the nature of creative energy. It's spontaneous, unpredictable, and definitely not something you can control. Ever been stuck on a project trying to squeeze out creative ideas, but nothing comes? That's because creativity isn't a tap you can turn on and off at will. It shows up when it's ready, not when you demand it. But then there are those moments when you're not even trying to be creative, and out of nowhere, a brilliant idea hits you. That's the beauty of creative energy. It can surprise you at the most unexpected times. When you hit a creative block, it might feel like your creative energy has abandoned you. But it's probably just taking a breather. The key is to keep showing up, keep trying, even when it feels like your creativity has gone AWOL. Because sooner or later, it'll come back. Don't get too hung up on one project or idea, though. Sometimes being too loyal to a particular project can stop us from exploring new ideas and possibilities. Remember, creativity is a journey, not a destination. It's all about exploration, experimentation, and taking risks. And don't forget to keep a sense of playfulness and openness in your creative process. Creativity loves freedom and flexibility. Be open to new ideas, be willing to take risks, and don't be scared of making mistakes. So, remember, creative energy is not yours to command. It's a spontaneous and unpredictable force that you can't control or command, but you can nurture and encourage. It's about being patient, persistent, open, and playful when facing creative challenges. Point 8. Conclusion. Creativity is not just an act, but a way of life. It is a journey of self-discovery and self-expression. It is about finding your unique voice and using it to create something meaningful. It is about breaking free from the constraints of convention and daring to explore the unknown. Creativity is not limited to artists or writers. It is a universal human ability that can be nurtured and developed. It is about seeing the world in a new light and finding innovative solutions to problems. It is about challenging the status quo and pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Creativity is also about resilience. It is about embracing failure as a stepping stone to success. It is about persevering in the face of adversity and never giving up on your dreams. Creativity is a lifelong journey. It is about constantly learning, growing, and evolving. It is about staying curious and open-minded. It is about finding joy in the process of creation and not just the end result. In the end, creativity is a choice. It is a decision to live life on your own terms and to make your mark on the world. It is a commitment to authenticity and originality. It is a celebration of the human spirit and its limitless potential.